Oh, it has it in the background. Well,
Yeah.
hey.
Oh, I was getting ready to rock out. What happened?
No, I put it in the background. Remember last time we put that in the background and we gave everybody epilepsy?
Uh,
Or they have epilepsy and we gave everybody seizures?
we had to put the warning there. There might be flashing lights. It will.
Oh, alright, let me start this the right way. Hot
Uh,
button number 1.
boom.
Welcome back to Get With The Programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
For the 3rd time today.
Oh, hi, man. Feel like I haven't talked to you all day long.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hey,
Good
man. What's
good
up?
to see you.
What's up?
This episode, however, is our very anticipated analyzing the programming of the 2022 CrossFit Games Open, and what a year it was, full of mystery workouts and programmers, and as always, no shortage of controversy and complaining.
Oh
From
my goodness,
the
yeah.
wonderful
The
world
scuttlebutt. The
of
scuttlebutt.
of Instagram and social media in general. But before we get to that, we want to thank our sponsors and partners of the show, Bubs Naturals. Go to bubsnaturals.com. Use the code GETWITH20 for 20% off everything that they have in store every single time. And here's the best thing to do. Get your MCT oil powder. Check. Discount 20%. Get your collagen protein. Check. Discount 20%. Get your apple cider vinegar gummies. Check. Discount 20%. With that money you saved, just get yourself those one badass hand blenders and make it all mixed together wonderfully. And you probably save even more money on that by just using the code GETWITH20 for 20% off every order every time. And just remember that everything you do purchase, 10% of that goes to charity. It is their mission there to give back to their military community for charities that they work with. And everything you buy there, 10% goes to charity. While you're at it, the Open is over and done with. WOD-proof app, I used that while I was I screwed up the first week. I like double tapped the record thing, because you can like record video and then like record timer only. So I double tapped, so there was like it was me going, hey, and then that was it.
But you know what? The Open is over, yes, but now we get to where you really need to start recording your videos. If you're made to the quarterfinals and you have aspirations to go further, or if you just want to have your video for cool Instagram or whatever, you got to get the WOD-proof app. Not only for their app, but they have their Pro Pack, which gets you into all of their 12-week programs, enables you to have access to these programs to shore up whatever holes you may have found in the Open, which we'll talk about in this episode here today, if you actually got to find them or not. But more importantly than that, not only do you get to become a better athlete, but you get to move better, to become a better machine by going bionic. So you have to use their $19.99 AI setup to look at what sort of deficits you might have with your mobility, and it generates a personalized program for you, not only for that day, but for the workouts that you're doing, or the elements of the workout that you're going to be dealing with. So it'll set all that up for you. If you have equipment, if you don't have equipment, if you want to go 10 minutes, 15, 20, or 25, it sets it up. So if you want to improve your movement, you have to get that so that you look good on your videos, and just kick ass in the quarterfinals and make it to the semis or beyond.
And you got some time before now, and I believe sign up is the last week of March, and then I think we're into it, or the second to last. It's sign up is like basically next week. So if you advance to the quarterfinals, congratulations. Sign up is next week. Workouts will get released the week after that. Hopefully we'll get some floor plans that we can do some guessing.
Oh, I love the guessing.
But while you have the time, do yourself a favor. Go to element26.co for all your CrossFit accessory needs. Use the code GETWITH15 for 15% off. Those hands grips saved my life during 22.3 because it's been a while since I've done bar work. And there was a moment during the 135-pound thrusters that I was looking at my belt from across the room. I was like, should I go over there and get that?
Did you say hello, my old friend?
Hello. I definitely use that for 0.2. But if you did make quarterfinals, even if you didn't, maybe it's because you didn't have any of this.
You need to have your stability accessory.
Yeah, it wasn't even fitness related.
Nope.
Go to Element 26, use the code GETWITH15. That's element26.co, not .com. And here we are, Bill. 3 weeks down, 3 workouts, only 3, not an
Yeah.
extra sneaky, what is it, encore event like you see at concerts when, Dave Matthews hops off the stage like, "Wait, you didn't play Crash," and then you clap for a while, and then he comes back out and plays it, and he doesn't want to, but he does it anyways. So we didn't have a
Uh,
22.4.
yeah.
And we talked about the first 2 weeks as we go through this. We'll go through all 3 weeks. We'll analyze the programming. We'll give our thoughts and opinions on how the programming was. But the first thing we always do with every competition that we analyze, when we look at the programming, we try to determine the purpose of the event. So when we look at off-season events, they have different purposes. Wadapalooza brands themselves as a festival of fitness. So it's a more fun vibe than it is like, was this the perfect test to find the fittest person at Wadapalooza? Dubai likes to showcase their landscapes and their infrastructure and all the cool things that is about Dubai, as well as have a CrossFit competition why they do that. But they're more of extravagance than they are test of fitness. Rogue is Rogue. They're just, top-notch quality competition for the athletes, right? It's taking care of the athletes while giving the fans what they want. Semifinals is to get to the games, quarterfinals to get to semifinals, and the Open. The only purpose of the Open now is to get 10% of men, women, top 25% in teams, and masters to the quarterfinals. That is it. And so the lens we judge with also has to go through the lens of the purpose of the Open. How would you see the Open?
I still see the Open as two-pronged.
Okay.
We talked about this the first time we started looking at, some of the Opens in the past. And the Open, first and foremost, is a qualifier, the first qualifying step as you move along that path to get to the games. So this this is that piece right there, I think is very important, because you cannot blow it off whether athletes feel that it's like, okay, I don't need to peak for the Open.
Mhm.
Totally fine.
Right.
With that being the case, though, I think that now, different than we've seen in some of the off-season events or where they're showcasing type events, to me, I believe that the purpose of that fork is that you need to have a balanced test to go to the next stage. I don't like the idea of, like, even the old Open and regionals and whatever, the Open was light, the regionals was heavy, the games got all kinds of fun little things, fun little
Right,
toys. I
right.
think that in each one of the qualifiers for the fittest, the definition of what you're trying to find is the fittest. You're not going to find the fittest in the world in the Open, but it has to be a fitness test under our definitions and CrossFit's definitions to get to the next stage. That being the case on that one fork, I still think that this is the community event where all the CrossFitters around the world get to rally and have some fun in the same arena. We're all in different places, but we all get to do the same events. We are the only sport in the world where you get to line yourself up virtually with the best athletes in the world. And so there's an affiliate, a community aspect of it, but then also the qualifying aspect of it. And I like the fact that it's, that 10%, to where it's not, you're not going to the games out of the Open or anything like that. It's a qualifier to get you through. So it really allows, I think, doing that, and even the 10%, for the most part, it allows all of the CrossFitters, elite level, regular level, first time level, to enjoy what we do.
Mhm.
So I think that's a pretty big lens.
Yes.
And as much as people can kind of like pretend like, oh, it's just the Open, there's a very important uh, role, I think, of that.
I agree. I agree. And I think less so now than it was, well, we'll say 2018 when we had the regional or open regional games, because it was okay, we need to have it. And just like you said, we need to have it open for everyone.
Right.
Not everyone, but for the majority, it should be a good quality test. But
Open for everyone doesn't mean that everyone can do all the things. It
not
means, hey, let's all get in here and play.
yes, open for everyone, not tailored for everyone. How's
Yes.
that?
Yeah, it's better.
And then the other prong was being an adequate test of fitness to qualify people to the next stage of competition.
Right.
And that stage was regionals.
Yeah.
And that window that they were taking was very, very small. They also had 5 workouts to do it with.
Yep.
Now that we have 3 and our window is massive, I still think it changes. It's not the same open as it was in 2018, and it's definitely not the same open as it was in 19 and 20.
It's not the same open because you have more steps to get to the game, so you have more qualifying rounds. However, I think that the goal is still the same. So that lens that you're looking at of what are you picking out of this field?
Mhm.
And that's why I think that's what I think when we get into discussing it, I think that's the part that's important to remember. This track is about the fittest on the planet. To crown the fittest on the planet, you have to have, under our definitions, fitness tests that go along with that all the way through. So
Right.
we should still have a obviously the games needs to be a well-rounded test. You have to have that. Semifinals should be a well-rounded test. The quarterfinals should be a well-rounded test. The open, I feel, should also be a well-rounded test. Should it be the same exact setup? No, of course not. But you can still show well-roundedness even in a few events. I mean, they did it in 2007.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
I think that's an important piece to be looking at.
Sure, and we always agree is, like, the test should be well-rounded. Now, how we define that when we go into it, we'll get to where we get and then
Right.
how we wanna get there. But yes, it shouldn't just be like, these people, demographic-wise, like, ability-wise, I'm saying, made it just because of this. Like, if they're all 20-minute long workouts, you're like, "Okay, well, this is clearly not a balanced
Right,
test."
exactly. Yeah.
Alright, so let's go through this. So 21 or 22.1, we all know, was a AMRAP in 15 minutes of 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatches, and 15 box jump overs with a mandatory step down unless you wanted to clear the box altogether. And they're like, "Yeah, that's cool." I was like, "That's a interesting okay, but okay."
Totally.
And what this one is you got 2 gymnastic movements. You have the wall walk, which is a press, from the floor up the wall. You have the dumbbell snatch, which is a weightlifting movement, odd object is what we'll say with the dumbbell, pull from the floor. And then the box jump over, which is again, another gymnastics movement and jumping, um, more lower body intensive than anything. And what this one was is just 15 minutes of a really big burner. There were no roadblocks in here physically other than really like your fitness level to an extent when we look at, say, work capacity,
Yeah.
maybe, or aerobic capacity.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, obviously, if the wall walks were difficult, then yeah, there was wall walks that you had to contend with. But if you look at the masses, for the most part, the wall walk number was small enough that it kept it manageable for most people, so that didn't become the hook. The dumbbell snatch was light enough for most people to where they could motor through that, and then I
Mhm.
mean, it really came down to the box jumps. It was for the masses, it was a box jump. How for 15 minutes can you do box jumps and
Right,
just
right.
keep on motoring, you know?
Yeah. Um, for the wall walk volume, I liked it for the prong of
Community.
community, right? Because, like, 3 for your gen pop is not a light number. The dumbbell snatch weight is normal open weight.
Yeah.
And the box jump over is, just a simple move. Um, the one thing with this workout, because the question is like, whose workouts are they using? Dave's or somebody else's or a modification from CrossFit. I don't know who did the modification. The one thing I know is that the modification was there on the box jump overs. They were supposed to use a movement supposedly never done in the open before. I still think it was lower body intensive, and it was supposed to keep the workout very aerobic. But I haven't gotten official that. I just know that piece is the piece that was changed
Yeah.
on the workout. So that's workout 1. When you go to workout 2, it was the 1 to 10 to 1 ladder of deadlifts at 225 and 155, and then bar facing burpees with the new burpee standard to make things easier. Easier to do, easier to do and easier to judge. But it wasn't easy to judge because people made it too complicated that it didn't need to be. Granted, this is a good rep and this is a bad rep video did not help
No.
clear things up. I'm like, how about we just say, get over the bar,
Totally. Yeah.
jump over the bar, done. 1 foot, 2 feet, just jump over the bar. Not like there's levels of jumping. It's either a jump or it's not. Right? I mean,
well, I mean, even in that, well, that's where you get into, okay, is a skip a jump? Is a hop a jump? Be like Sevon, define jump. Pull up the definition of jump.
yeah, well, that's true. Speaking of, I should send him a link, see if he jumps on here.
Oh man. But you're right. I mean, I applaud CrossFit for trying to make it to where it's like, hey, we're going to make this easy on everyone. We're going to make it easy on the judges. You don't have to do something stupid like, well, that was really close, but it wasn't really. Just do it. Don't worry about it.
Right.
But we, being the CrossFit community that we are, went all the way to the other side to be like, okay,
what about
so exactly
this?
what's the line on that side then? Like, at what point do both feet need to be over the bar? Like maybe if it was both feet have to pass over the bar at the same time. Maybe that's the number. So you can't do like where one foot's across and then you have to like the other leg just barely comes up. So they have to cross the plane of the bar at the same time.
Yeah.
Because then
I don't know. I felt like it wasn't that hard, and then everybody made it hard.
No, I agree. But the thing is that the question that they were asking, it wasn't wrong. I mean, it was okay. Well, what is the limit then on that side? It's just so again, us CrossFit community that we would go that way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gonna make it a little easier. Okay, cool. How far? You're gonna give me an inch? I'm gonna take like 1.5 meters and see just how far I can go the other direction. It's like, just do a burpee. Will you just do a burpee?
I know, it's a burpee, get over the bar.
Yeah.
Like whatever jump. I mean, just like don't step over the bar. Maybe that's it. Just don't do this. However cute you want to get. And here's the thing: all the people that want to get cute had no effect on the workout. That's the thing. Like, what about this quick hop step off the floor knee drag thing? I'm like, if that's what you're trying to do, then like you have bigger problems than your jump.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if that's the secret to you not sucking at this workout is how you get over a barbell. Like we're kind of missing the point there.
Totally.
Okay, so that's burpee standard, but as far as the workout, I mean, this is one of those nasty, this was a Dave one. We talked about this on our recap shows. Like this was all Dave. Like, there were no modifications. And when you think about this, is like it's so simple for the everyday guy and girl, and it's so devastating for the elite person.
Yeah, the better you are, the worse it's gonna hurt. And that's that's a very old school, Greg Glassman sort of mantra too. It's like, when does this get easier? It doesn't. The better you get, the harder you go, the worse it hurts.
Right.
So it does. The better you are at this, the worse it's gonna hurt.
Yeah. And the barbell weight, it's high volume deadlifts at 225 and 155. It's a weight most people can play with.
Yeah.
And the best can do work with. The time cap was what?
I was gonna say, you want to know what's funny? Everyone's like, we had to do 100 deadlifts, and for most people, it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, what's this we shit?
You didn't do. You didn't do 100 deadlifts. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I've got I just looked at a couple numbers to just kind of really refocus people's complaints. It's like saying we when you're talking about like your favorite sports team.
Right.
We had to do 100 deadlifts. It's like, no, you didn't.
Justin Medeiros did.
Justin, you did 50, maybe. And if you made quarterfinals, you
Uh,
did 75. Like, what's the big deal?
right, right, right.
Um, as far as the workout, it had a 10-minute cap. It wasn't a 10-minute workout for, the design stimulus of this. This is, 8 minutes on average was probably your top 50 score there, for the men. For the women, close to the same thing. Obviously, there were people in the sevens, but not many. Like, there were 4 of them. But everyone else was right around that 8 to 9-minute range, and super intense, right? And
Yeah,
I would say very anaerobic. I mean, it was longer than that anaerobic time slot, but, like, this wasn't just, like, metabolic conditioning. Like, that got acidy, burny, gross.
definitely that. Yeah, the weight the weight in there. Oh, man, I felt this in my ass. Like, my glutes were on fire on this thing, and that's what's so weird. I mean, it's weird when you're doing deadlifts and you're like, "Okay, I'm going, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving," and then you're like, "My ass feels like it's gonna cramp up right now,
I'm
like,
doing a
really
midget.
bad. What the hell is happening?"
But my butt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, whew.
Yeah.
I
And
love
so,
adding I love adding that weight to it was good.
yes. So half the time frame of event 1, I would say double the intensity. 'Cause, like, week 1 wasn't hard. It was just like we said, it was breathing and burning.
Yeah,
This one got hard. Like, those brakes slammed on you hard when you got to, like, 7, 8, 9 on the way up.
yeah.
It was nasty. Now, we said this on a recap of 22.2. If we look at the components here, is like you have a, uh, moderate weightlifting, pull from the floor. I'll say, right on the fringe of moderate,
Yeah.
on the low side, not the high side. High volume, obviously, and then, gymnastics. But movement pattern wise, you still have a push, pull, and a jump. And if we
Yep.
wanna get super basic without, like, little contextual parts, like, you have the same 3-part movement patterns as you did in week 1, but as we said earlier, there was a jump component in week 1 that wasn't supposed to be there when these 3 were assembled. Now that's only one part, but the big thing you hear as far as, like, people's complaints is, like, we did a lot of jumping in the open, and that's due in part to maybe what the original programming was.
Yeah, and that's what's I really wish they wouldn't have said, "Hey, we're using Dave's, but we're gonna modify it." Like, I wish they would have just thrown that out and said, "Here's what it is," because then we can look at because when you hear that it's possibly 2 different
Mhm.
sculptors that are building this out or contractors that are building this out, you start to wonder like, okay, well, what did the original plan look like?
Right.
Because like where did we skew from? Like what was the purpose of the change? And I feel that, to say that um tweaks were made to make it more affiliate friendly.
Right.
Like honestly, I feel that I mean, except for like classic times like when the rower was first brought in, or when there was
When they put
when we had the
dumbbells in
hand
the open.
walk, something like that, where it was like, hey, maybe we don't all have that. But generally speaking, I
Yeah.
think that, I think that there has never been an issue with it not being affiliate friendly for the most part. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple
Mhm.
little things, but for the most part, I never saw the need for that. So it's like, okay, well, did you change? Was it changed just to change? And now, does that picture skew from whatever it is? Like, is the jump in there just because, like, well, we need to have something different in there,
Mhm.
or because now we are doing the jump, and the jump?
Right.
It's really weird. So it's hard to imagine like what it. If I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't think like, well, what was it supposed to look like then? It would just be like, here's what it is. Let's analyze it as it is, not well, what if. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, looking at this from what it was from week 1 to week 2, different workouts, different tests, same movement patterns. But again, like a 50-pound dumbbell from the floor is not a 225-pound.
No.
deadlift,
No.
but it's still a from the floor pull. Like, there is some redundancy there. But again, that wasn't a changed element there. That was what was originally programmed.
Yeah.
All right, so then we go into week 3, and the question was,
What
prior
do
to the
we
open,
have left?
what do we have left? And we look at the equipment list and we're like, okay, well, we have double unders, we have something with the rig, and hopefully some more barbell work. And the other question was, is there going to be a repeat? And, you know, I didn't think there was going to be one. I don't know why I felt that way. It was purely along the same lines as I thought there's going to be wall walks again.
Yeah.
Um, and then lo and behold, it's not a repeat. It's a very similar, I would say, workout that we had in 21.3, where we had an ascending gymnastics of pull-ups, chest to bar pull-ups, and bar muscle-ups,
Bar
as
muscle
opposed to the toes to bar, chest to bar pull-ups, bar muscle-ups. The reps went down, where last year the reps stayed the same. They were all 30s, and this was 21, 18, 15. And the bar work was thruster work, which was an ascending ladder of weight from 95, 115, 135. Not huge jumps that we've like seen in the past. I mean, every time we made up a ladder, it was like 95, 135, 185. And then we're like 205, 225, or 255. Like, those weights got like really, really heavy because, we're in the camp of 1 rep maxes or heavy tests shouldn't be singularly scored, especially in the open or in events that have a very limited event number, right? We don't want 25% of our test to be a specific demographic of athlete.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same reason why there shouldn't be a single gymnastics test like max chest to bar pull-ups in 1 try, and that's your score.
Right.
Imagine what the world would do if you did that. No different, literally no different than testing a max lift as a single movement. It's a single modality test. Or we're gonna do a 2K row.
Yeah.
It's the same exact test. Everybody says barbell because, yeah, more people like to do a max complex than they do on a 2K row.
I don't wanna do a 2K
Way
row.
easier to do. And all your lifters in your gym can sign up for the open, limp D 80% lift, and then sit at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the weekend. Like, that's a problem. But the other question is there a way to test strength in the open like we've seen? And, a ladder of sorts with heavier weight, having to earn your right to get there using fitness, of which you should have to get to those heavy bars. That's usually what we saw.
Yeah.
When this first came out, what was your first reaction to it?
When I first saw it, I was like, "Okay, when are they announcing the second part?" I
Oh, right, yeah,
it did not I actually like the event a lot. I really like the event. But when I looked at this and where it was in the mix, I was like, Okay, we're missing something. We're missing something. Like, they're gonna announce a part B. They're gonna announce a 21 or 22.4. They have to have that. They have to have that. They have to have it. They didn't have it. So I was disappointed. And I'm not even saying that it had to have been a repeat, but they have done in the past such a great job of being able to showcase strength on different events where you get to earn your position. You get to earn to get to that weight that you want to hit. If
yeah,
you're a strong guy, cool. You just have to get there to showcase your strength. And even though the weights were set, it didn't show that. It didn't
right.
showcase that strength. I love the event. I really, really, really like the event. Um, but I just feel the open wasn't done.
Fair. If they used heavier weights, would that have changed your opinion on it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, singly picking that event, like if I do look at just that event alone, I think it's awesome.
Mhm.
And that's one of the hard parts that I had with this open is when I look at each of the events singly, if I look at each individual one, and like, we talk about with different workouts all the time. It's like, oh, hey, I got this one. Check this one out. And all you're doing is you're looking at that one event by itself.
Mhm.
It's not a test for anything. It's just that event by itself. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I really liked every one of the events individually. I
Yeah.
think that they were great. I love the deadlift one, as boring as that one was. As far as like, it didn't take a whole lot to do it. You lifted and you did burpees, like whatever. I
Yeah.
love the last event. I loved that's something that I could see myself programming. One, because I even laughed at the number of double unders that were in it because I
Yeah.
if it was you that would have programmed that, it would have been like 175, 50,
Easily.
at least
Yeah,
in
easily.
that. Um,
Triple the number at
so
minimum.
yeah, but each of the individual events I really loved, but when you put them all together, I'm like, we're missing still. We are missing something still. And
Mhm.
I think that what it did is it really, even though, the emphasis of how important going from this stage to the next stage, or, the with the number being pretty large with the 10%, it still didn't do, I don't think, the test wasn't there. And so because that test, the test being this is the first step of the fitness test, it shouldn't be that like, oh, we're only going to go light on this one. And then the
Yeah.
next one will go heavy. And then the next one will go gymnastic-y. And then the next one will go odd object or whatever. It shouldn't be that way, I don't think. And I think because if they would have been heavier, it would have well rounded out that test a little bit more. But again, it's a very weird feeling for me to love all three events and not like how they're put together.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying, and I agree. Like, we've said many times is how we feel that certain strength tests should be appropriately applied and, more importantly, appropriately scored.
Yeah,
Um, I think just making this heavier would have been a very easy fix.
totally.
Um,
That would have been and I don't want to say a cop out fix. It would have been an easy way to do it where people would have been like, okay, like those are pretty heavy. The 135 thruster and the 95 pound, they sucked. I mean, there's no
yeah,
doubt
I mean,
about it.
it
Like,
wasn't an easy, well, depending on
n-
who you're talking to. Geez, some of these
right,
scores.
uh, but even like the number of reps that people were doing, it wasn't that heavy and it wasn't that many. I will say my legs were sore after that, way more than I thought that they would be, but it wasn't heavy. It really wasn't. I don't think you tested strength
Mm,
with that weight on that. If you would have had, like, you could have brought the rep set down and gone heavier. It was really funny listening to on Sevon's show. There was Rich and James Hobart, and some of the other Mayhem crew guys, and like all those guys are on there. And they're like, "What do you think about it?" Because they heard it early because they got leaked out.
yeah.
But anyway, they were talking about that, and they're like, we don't know if this is it. If this is it, what do you think about it? And they're like, it's not. It's too light. Like
Mhm.
make the ending thruster like 225, which I'm like, wow, that's up there.
Right.
But again, earn your right to get to it, and then you have your strong people that at least that element, the strength element, gets tested. It wasn't tested.
You're right. Um, and yes, it's hard to look at this, as you said, a complete test. And I'm in this weird, like, should there been a part B? Yes, but they never score it the right way.
Maybe they would.
Right? But
Maybe they would do it the right way
my
this time.
okay, so um my concession is, okay, well, if you're going to add a part B, we need to make sure is that we appropriately score this together. I would almost rather it be like this than like it has been, with that max lift as its own individual event. Like, that's where I'm having a a conflict, because I think that's worse of a test to have it its own scored event as far as leaderboard and advancing for the top 10% for quarterfinals because it skews so much more than these. Like these are nasty tests of fitness. That's what they are. One was 15 minutes, one was 8 to 9 minutes for your top times, and one was 4 to 5 minutes for your top times. They're not the same time frames. They all felt differently, right? One had a gymnastics difficult thing. The thrusters were nasty. Double unders were. I have another theory on the double unders and why it was so small.
Because of all the
But
box jumps.
right.
I mean, again, it's the jumping. Could you imagine? I mean, you're the one with the bad calf. Could you
I
imagine if you had to do
I have a partial
300,
tear in my
200, 100 on the
no, right? Like, but I'm saying is like, yes, okay, am I glad? Yes, because I'm hurt and I got to play. But like, should it have been more? Absolutely, it should have been more.
I think it should have been more to if you were looking at that event. Again, if you're looking singularly at that last event, the double unders meant nothing. They didn't even need to be there. Like it didn't.
Depending on who you were.
We're talking general mass.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And even if you're looking at it being a qualifier to the next stage, the numbers on that, like I say it all the time on here. Like I am hit and miss on double unders. I can hit 120 one day, and then I'm doing sets of 5 the next day for whatever reason.
Yeah.
When I saw that it was 42, 36, 30, I was like, easy. Like I'm not even worried about it, because even if I mess up, someone who's going really fast and gets all of them, they're going to beat me by 5 seconds.
Mhm.
So I'm not losing any. So that piece is almost non-negotiable. It really is for
Yeah.
I mean, for the math, unless you don't have
No, I
double or whatever.
get it.
So to make it even count for anything, you would have to bump it up. Since it really was a non-negotiable, then it's like, okay, then ramp up the other stuff, because for a lot of people, this event was, okay, I'm going to race the first 2 rounds, and then I'm going to take pot shots at the
get your time
bar
break.
muscle up.
Yeah.
So I mean, even at that point, like you're hung up. You don't even get to the quote unquote heavy bar. I mean, even the people that had problems with the bar muscle ups, for the most part, like we had people that had never really aren't even very good at chest to bar pull-ups and could get through that with like, they get there to like 8 minutes. So they have 4 minutes of like, okay, so how do I do a bar muscle up now? Let's try this for the first time. So like that event stopped at like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And they really, the test wasn't there. The test wasn't for what it was trying to do. It was missing the heavy piece. Make the barbell heavy. So if the issue is, I don't know how they're going to score it. Okay, cool. Then this should have been heavier, because there hasn't been any way. And I cannot have, the 225, 155 is not heavy for people doing that. It wasn't heavy. And we've seen them do it. Yeah. Like I can't say that there was weight. The weight element was non-existent in this open.
So yes and no. Because if we're looking at what the test was for, like again, this isn't for regionals. This is definitely not for the CrossFit Games. This is for 10% of quarterfinals. So I'm just looking at North America.
Should it still be a well-rounded test though?
Yes, but the argument of not a heavy bar, I think, is overlooked by people who are good at CrossFit, like you.
I will say that.
Just let me give you an example.
It's missing a heavy bar. That's a relative term, and I understand.
No,
I understand
that's what I'm saying. I'm giving you a counter argument to this.
I hear you.
If this was a worthless barbell, then everyone would have finished the second workout. But they didn't, because it was heavy for the volume at which it was given.
That's not why they didn't finish.
Sure it is. If you were stronger, no, the burpees were irrelevant. It was the barbell.
On the deadlifts?
Yes.
I don't think so at all. Because I did all my deadlifts unbroken.
Okay.
And I had athletes that I coach that broke up their deadlifts all over the place, and they beat me. It wasn't because I beat them in the dead. They beat me. Well, they weren't hard. Like I mean, I was moving. It wasn't like I wasn't moving, but it came down to, if you were to look at doing it wasn't 5 minutes for 100 burpees and 5 minutes for 100 deadlifts. Like, no. You look across that. the biggest chunk is gonna be on the burpees. That
The
was a burpee
time
workout.
suck was the burpees. The difficulty was not the burpees. The
I'm
burpees
saying
was
I'm
easy.
not saying it was a difficult you're right, the time sucks. So if you are better at burpees, you can almost be pretty bad at the deadlifts and limp your way through those and kill it on the burpees.
I disagree.
Well, it's okay.
I know. If this was a light bar, then everyone in the top 10% should have finished this workout. The top 10, the last person in for the women did 141 reps. The last person for the men, this is North America, did 157.
Okay.
Like, if this was just a light barbell that everybody could get through, then more people would get better. Like, those are not good scores for great CrossFitters. We're just trying to get top 10%.
I hear you. I hear
Right?
you.
And the burpees were a time suck, but they weren't a workout suck. Like, the way you got to do burpees was so easy. It was not hard to do. The burpees made the deadlifts harder, and the deadlifts made your heart rate go up. But like that bar wasn't light as like people are flippantly just be like, there's no heavy barbell. It's like 225-pound barbell for 100 reps. Like that shit's not easy. And it's not easy because you don't have a lot of time. And this is almost like taking exactly what you're like saying is like the time suck. Yes. Now, how hard is it to do 100 deadlifts in 3 minutes? Like that's really effing hard. Why? Because it's heavy, not because it's light.
For 100 reps.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, but it's not. That wouldn't be considered. I don't consider that. I mean, if
I
that's going
don't
to be your
consider
heavy
that
barbell.
a heavy barbell, but at the same time, you cannot tell me that that is a worthless lightweight.
Oh, I'm not saying it's worthless lightweight. I'm saying that strength wasn't tested, is what I'm saying.
I say strength and
Capacity,
endurance is tested.
capacity was tested, sure. Volume with a moderate weight, sure.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at the way that the Open has tested strength in the past,
This
so
isn't the
many
same
different
Open.
ways.
That's what I'm saying, right? And I'm saying is like this is not the same Open.
Does it have the same
Doesn't
job?
need its
Now,
job is to
granted,
find
10%.
10%.
I
That is
understand.
so I'm sorry for those who didn't make it, but it's not that hard to make. Like if you have above average fitness level, you're going to the CrossFit game or the quarterfinals, and you don't need to test a 1 rep max strength. Your 1 rep max lift that you didn't get didn't keep you out of the top 10%. It didn't. Your fitness level did. That's it.
I agree with that, but I don't think it needs to be so low. Like
And I know what you're saying. And I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying that it's a non-negotiable weight. I'm not saying that. Yes, CrossFit Corey. Man, you've been with us all day long. Wow.
Yeah, God bless you, Corey.
I would love to be in that particular workout. I'm not saying I like I said, I loved that workout.
Yeah, we did like that
as it was. I loved it. I loved the second workout. I wanted something after that, a weight after that, a fourth piece that would be scored, the correct way. That's what I wanted. Am I saying that
I
this
do
right
too,
here?
right? I do too, right? So
Am I saying that
handing
weight's not non-negotiable? Not at all. I'm not saying that. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that.
And I'm not saying you are, but like that's one of the biggest arguments people are saying is like, I didn't get a heavy barbell. This is why I didn't make the Open. I was like, yeah,
No.
I'm sure you've been banking on that shit because they've been scoring it incorrectly since the Open had started. No wonder you're so upset you didn't get that because you didn't get thrown the bone that you always do. And so you've let your holes stay holes for 11 freaking years. Like that's my problem with it. Like, do I think there should have been a ascending ladder with more weight on the last one? Yes, I do. Do I think it was missing that piece and it wasn't a well-rounded test from top to bottom? No, I don't. I agree with you. But for someone to say there was absolutely no strength tested at all in any capacity is ignorant because there was. It was in the deadlift workout. And because your fitness isn't where it's supposed to be, is why you didn't get a good enough score there. And that kept you out of the Open. Not because, and I'm not saying you, Bill. I'm saying
I got you.
the
I hear you.
person or peoples that are complaining about this and saying like, there was absolutely like, you're right. A max wasn't tested and you didn't get your free pass to quarterfinals this year. Sorry. Right. But should they have put, say, 21, 18, 15, 12, 9? and modify your gymnastics to get there with 2 more heavier barbells? Absolutely. Then we'd have less things to bitch about.
Or you just do what I said and you put the 1 rep max bear complex in there.
Yeah, or yeah. Or you do that bear complex thing, or you throw a max lift at the end, but you don't give them a 20% free pass to the quarterfinals.
No.
Because that one lift, your lift that everybody was complaining it wasn't there, was the only reason you made quarterfinals. That's
I
it,
do
because you were good at that.
I'm telling you right now, if they woulda had some sort of heavy lift, something, a complex, lift, a snatch, anything, whatever,
Mhm. Yeah.
and the way they scored it was you had to put the 2 together to get your score, and that was your 3rd score. That would make that would even those things out the way they need to be even out, and all it would take is that, and then, like, for me, if that piece was there, scored the correct way, now the test is correct.
Agreed.
I still think that the way that it is, as it is not an appropriate test, even though I know we're only trying to get the top 10%, like, I understand all that. I still think that, like, if I was testing my people here in the gym, and a lot
Mhm.
of them are not in the top 10%,
Yeah.
there would still be a strength element, and I think we have to be careful saying strength element of any type, because it's like, okay, are we talking true strength? Are we talking strength capacity? Are we talking endurance strength? Are we talking, like, what do we, like, that when we're
Yeah.
talking about that in the
Yeah, there's so
definition
many
of
levels
strength?
to that. Yeah.
So, I think that's why I think that it's missing it. Again, this is a very weird open for me, because I love every one of the events, especially the last 2. I think that bam, we're live. Bam, we're live. I love that. It's so funny. Um, I love each of them individually. I love number 2, and I really do love number 3, but it
Yeah,
is missing a piece,
you're
and that
right.
kills me. And so,
You're
here I
right.
am.
I agree.
I'm loving it, and then I'm
I
like, I'm loving
agree.
it, but then I think it's like, honestly, as far as the program goes, I'm not stoked on the programming. As far as the test, I'm not I don't like how the test is put together. I like the
The
programs.
collective test
It's so weird.
siloed. It is weird, right? And I agree with you on this, like, siloed, all of these were good little tests.
Yeah,
Combined, there is an element of incomplete to this,
yeah.
but I will not go as far as say it's not appropriate. Like, for what it is and what our goal was, it's fine. Is it missing some things? Yes, it is. Should it
You
have
want
something a little heavier in there at the end, or maybe a heavy lift and a different scoring system? Absolutely. That would have made it a more well-rounded test. But
I
no one missed quarterfinals because of the programming being bad. I don't care if event 1 was boring. Like, we're
There's
not.
a lot of box jumps.
Yeah,
But okay,
event
I'm gonna go
event
the
2
pure.
was boring.
I'm gonna go the purest setup on this, though, because when we are talking CrossFit, there's a
Yes.
definition. We have our definitions. We have our 10 physical traits. We have all the things that we're trying to hit.
Yes.
And yes, relatively speaking, if we roll this up and say, okay, I have 65-year-old grandma over here who's doing CrossFit, who is doing the scaled divisions, maybe to her,
Mhm.
that bar was testing strength, because she only got a couple, or only the second set of thrusters were too heavy. So for her, it would be tested that way. But when we are looking across the board, I just feel like it wasn't tested, because, and I tell you what,
Because it wasn't.
thank
I
goodness the
You're
2007
right.
CrossFit Games, 3 events, and
Yes.
it tested all of them.
Yes. Sup,
3
Bruce?
events. Bruce, you're back
You're back,
again.
and we're back too. I feel like Savon, we've done so many shows today.
I know. So
And
that's what I'm saying. It's just a weird. I mean, am I gonna
it's
complain about
weird.
it? No, it is what it is. Like, as an athlete, it doesn't matter what's set up. To sit there and bitch about, like, well, it didn't have this, it didn't have that. It's like, whatever, man. Line up. Someone's gonna say 3, 2, 1, go, and you go and you
Yeah.
race. Whatever the race is.
Right,
I
and
think
that's the thing, it's like, you didn't miss quarterfinals because there wasn't a big lift in the open.
Yeah.
That's not why. It's not. You can like, listen to these scores. To make the quarterfinals for the men, you had to do 243 reps in event 1. 243. That's 8 rounds. 8. and then you had to get 157, which is on part 2, I can't do the math, but that's
That's in the
75 of each, so
yeah.
you're in, like, the round of 8, maybe, on the way down, and then you had to get a 1014 on the last one. Like, those aren't bad numbers, but they're not, like, insurmountable. And so the reason why you didn't make quarterfinals is because you have a hole somewhere in here that shouldn't be this bad of a hole if you're going to make the top 10%. Not because there wasn't a max lift. On the women, it's actually the women is like the same number, 243, 141, and 166. You had to finish the damn workout. You had to get 4-bar muscle ups.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what this number. I think it was 10. You didn't have to finish the workout to make quarterfinals. Like, I'm sorry. Your non-existent lift isn't the reason you didn't make quarterfinals. Period.
No, that's not the reason someone didn't
That's
make
what I'm
it
saying.
in,
But that's
you
what I'm
know?
saying. It's like people are judging as like, I missed because this lift and there's no lift, so this is a shitty open. I was like, listen, was the open kind of boring? Yeah, it was. Were the workouts kind of boring? Yeah, they were. Was the last one at least a little more fun? Yes. Should there have been a heavier barbell? Yes. But if we're judging at least what the job of the open was is to get to top percent and move it on, it did its job. Could have done a better job? Yes. But this wasn't but I'm saying this wasn't a failed test. It was a flawed test. There should have been something heavier to make it more of a well-rounded test, but that wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
No, I hear you. What makes it
I'm
rough.
not saying it was the perfect test.
No, it wasn't the perfect test. What makes it
But
rough
it did the
is
job.
there are these pieces that that I feel kind of give it leeway for what it was, which to me makes it that you could almost afford to be
Bruce is
not
right.
correct with your test.
Correct. You're right, Bruce. He
It's
would have
like
won the open if there was a heavy lift. Yes.
um,
But that's
if
not what we were testing.
if that totally threw me off.
Sorry.
If to say all every this is what's so funny. Every time these kind of comments come up, we have the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals will take care of blah blah blah. Or it's only 10%. I mean, we're getting the 10% in, so it really doesn't. We're going to have this whole big group, so it really doesn't matter. Yes, those pieces are there.
That's not what I say.
No, I understand it. It's not an untrue statement. I don't like the fact that could be used as a protection from not making sure that not putting something heavier in, not testing strength more appropriately.
Got it.
I'll say that again.
And I'm with you.
I know, and that's what's so weird is like it's all of this stuff. I mean, it was this and it. Yeah, did it? Yeah, sure. I guess kind of. But did it mess up here? And did it mess up here? And did it mess up here? Did it mess up? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Oh, good for you, Bruce.
Oh, our last
episode. Don't tell anyone about that. Tell them that they have to go back. Oh, you already put it up there.
Oh, I didn't. Nope. Sorry.
You go back and do what Bruce did from the last episode.
Yeah, we just posted that one. We'll post this one soon, but this will be on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So this is the hard part. That is like the one thing we're in agreement that like this wasn't a complete test, but I mean, I'm in the camp of like it's so hard. It's so hard to.
Dude, okay. Do you think that let me ask you, and this is Jimmy, this is to your question up here, or your comment up here. It's big, but okay. The theme of the open being inclusivity. I personally don't believe that the open has ever not been inclusive. There have always been movements that everyone can do. And like to say that we don't want to scare people, man, we've been around now for a while. Everyone knows what CrossFit is. To
Mhm.
say that we're scaring people away by having some stuff that's hard in there, and we've had some of our gnarliest years ever of some heavy weights and some crazy movements. I mean, remember that one where you had to do all the bar muscle-ups and ring muscle-ups and 9 gazillion double unders
Oh,
and
yeah.
overhead squats and
I
all,
love that one.
which was I mean, I so did I. But I mean, you want to talk about a workout that's going to scare someone, or the increasing squat cleans. You know, that with the
Yeah.
toes to bar, the double unders, and the like. If you're talking about wanting that something's going to scare somebody, I mean, you know, and again, and I think that that's on us to be able to tell people like, hey, this is the test. You need to be tested. A test is not everyone gets to finish. There is supposed to be stuff that is stopping you. There is supposed to be things where your holes are exposed. Even at this level.
Mhm.
Even at this level. Like, you know, you're not going to go to the world-class spelling bee and have everyone start off with the word cat.
That'd help me, except I'd spell it with a K, and I'd be I know, I see what
So
you're saying. I do see what Jimmy's saying too. Like, the tests, were they easier and more accessible for a more broad audience? Yes, but there's still wall walks in there.
yeah,
I
come
mean,
on.
yeah, but it's like, but it's only 3, but, like, watching someone look at a workout, be like, "Okay, I can attempt that because there's not 20 in the beginning." You know what I mean?
Do you remember do you remember when the scale divisions first came out?
Yes.
Okay, so the scale division comes out, and what did everyone say? Okay, sweet. Now we can do all the hard things where people actually get to get tested in because the scale division can be
Yes.
set up for everyone else. Well, now here we are with that the same setup.
But not the
We have
same
the
open.
open,
Not the
the
same
same
open.
we have the scale division. And
Yes.
granted, okay, they aren't going the top 20 or whatever, or 40 or whatever the numbers are.
Oh, whatever it
Aren't
was.
aren't whatever the numbers are and how it went. I get it. I get it. I do. But I still don't think that we need to soften up the corners and make it so everyone can play and everyone
There's
gets
your OG coming
a
out.
I know, man, like, I am a purist when I
Yeah.
am, and I know that about myself. I just am.
And it's not a
Um,
negative, but, like, and here's the thing, you're right. You're right, because that's exactly what we said. It's like, okay, now the open can be a bit more hardcore, but that was 2018 prior. This is not the same open. And I think a lot of people, I don't think you're thinking of this, are looking at it like it's the same thing. It's not. And we only have 3. We only have 3 tests. There's only so much crazy things we can do here to where it doesn't skew a test, right? Now, should there been heavier weight at the end in the ladder? Yes.
sure.
Then we'd have less to go back and forth with, like, "Hey, guys, this was event 1, event 2, event 3. Good luck in 2 weeks. See you later." Like, you know
Totally,
what?
I know, exactly, it would be that easy.
So, yeah, and
It would
so
be that easy. It's an easy fix.
yes.
Is it fine? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Could it have been awesome? Yeah. Damn
Cold
it.
brew and watch this show, Bruce. How are you gonna go to bed? Are you a night owl? What's your, like, shift work time? Now I have to go get my cold brew and watch this show. Yeah, I screwed up. I posted this on an unlisted link like an idiot, and then Savan had to tell me how to, like, use technology. You guys are getting this this link late. I think the hard thing and why we've been going round and round and round for I feel like 30 minutes now is that there was something missing, but at the same time, it wasn't something so glaring that there was a huge problem. There's just it could have been better, and it seems so simple of a fix.
Every other time we've done the open, and I'm not saying it's the same and, the parameters, all that stuff. Every time we've done the open, it's like, man, if there was this one thing, it would have been like, oh, but it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
This right here, I just don't think it was that little of a thing. I think that, like, I mean, I mean, literally, this is my, yeah. I mean, okay. I guess it did it. I mean, if there would have been something heavy, I'd been like, if there would have been a 22.4 with something weighted, something, if they would have done 165-pound clusters, max reps for 7 minutes, something like that,
Yeah.
something that was heavy, something that had like that, I would have been like, dude, I think this open was awesome.
Oh my God, Bruce, you're in Miami.
Wow.
And you have to wake up at 6? Oh my gosh. It's what is it? 12:45 there or 11:45?
11:45.
It's 10:45 here. Well, I have to wake up at 4:15, so
I gotta wake up at
same boat.
4:15 too.
Yeah, but it's like 8:45 there.
I've been up since yesterday. Been up since 4:30.
Yeah, it's been a long day. All right, so
Anyways, moving on from
okay,
that, yes.
so do this. Take the workout we had at the end, not adding a lift. What would be the weights you would accept as appropriate jumps to blend in with what like, all you get to do is change weight? What would make it okay? Not perfect.
95, 135, 185. 65,
Oh,
95, 135.
so 95, 135, 185,
Yeah.
65, 95, 135. I would have said same. I would have just had the last bar at 165. And then
Dang, 205. Look at whoo!
sweet Jesus.
Sanderlax. Dang, dude.
Someone did
Okay.
miss the last heavyweight bar that they really wanted. Because, like, 135 at 18 reps is when it's starting to get, like, unfun. 165 is the same weight we had in 2011.
Look at the top times
Yeah,
for some minutes.
yeah. 4,
Okay, you bump those up, and now those guys aren't gonna be like, now it's not heavy, it's heavy. There's no way they're not gonna do them unbroken,
no.
you know? I mean, I think the big dogs were all wanting to do, like, 205, like, Sanderlax had on here, or even the Rich was saying, like, 225. That all of a sudden, it gets like, okay, now it's way dicey to where
That's
the
only a
gymnastics
threshold.
almost doesn't even count. I think that I still think the 185, that people get in there and get that one, you know? I mean, even if they did the
Yeah,
165, like, it would be better. It would be better.
and that's
I think the 185 would say, "This is
sure,
heavy,"
sure.
and now nobody would complain. I mean, there would be the big beefcakes. It would be like, "Hey man, where's my 1 rep max back squat? Where's my hang
That's what he
power
said,
curl?"
it's like, go to the open or go to
Yeah.
quarterfinals. Did a light just go out on your screen?
No, that was it was my daughter trying to play me. She wants me to play Roblox with her.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, I mean, I'd be fine. Like, 195, 35, 40-pound jump, 50-pound jump, I mean, that's the only reason why I said 65. That'd be a
Yeah.
big jump. But,
Yeah.
look, something as simple as that, would it made it all better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, one more question, then we'll let everybody go to bed, including Bill. You can go play Roadblocks. Is it
Go play
Roadblocks?
Roblox.
Go play Roadblocks. What do you think Cash was thinking when the tests were released? I think he was truthful in his assessment when he first programmed it, is that this would be the most painful open done, because outside of a modification of event 1, with what I heard what it would be is like that would have been a nasty burner, right? That got bad for the lungs. But event 2, for the best people, is a nasty, painful workout. 100 deadlifts at 225 and 155, 100 bar facing burpees. Like that was a very nasty, painful. Let's just look at people's faces when they're doing that. Like
Oh,
still
it
shot.
hurt people. It
That's
hurt
what I'm
people.
saying, right? That was painful. And then if you were good at event 3, that thing was nasty. Like your legs are blown out, your lungs are, it was like Fran on steroids. And I'll wrap this around and talking about the double under volume. is, okay, so for the new athlete, like that double under volume was fine because they're like trying to get their first one or they can only do one in a row. For us, it was just a break. So we're like, oh, thank God for these. Like I have a 20-second rest period to just kind of shake out my cobwebs. For the elite, I thought this was put in there at this volume to give them enough of a little break that they could full send back and forth, where if they weren't there, they actually wouldn't be able to.
You don't think they'd be able to? Look at Friendly
I mean, I
Friend.
think yeah, but that's 115. I think
I
some would, right? I'm not talking like Matt Fraser. Yes.
right.
Me like, that's we leave him out of all, like, discussions when it comes to this, but, like, I think it gave them enough of just a little easy middle part, and I'm not saying, like, this is a good idea, but I'm just looking at it like that, where they could, like, come off the pull-up bar, breathe, 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 and just smash the thrusters and go back to the pull-up bar,
Yeah.
and then a little thrust or a little double under where they got a little like, shake the arms out enough, let that heart rate come down a little bit, smash the thrusters again, and go back. Like, I think those evolutions of the double unders in terms of skill set is what that did in there, and that made it very, very painful.
Yeah.
Instead of hesitating before the bar, resting 15 seconds, you were doing double unders for 15 seconds,
Yeah, it
right?
was an
And
active rest.
I think they put the double unders in there for the newbies,
Maybe.
but
Maybe. I
that
mean,
was my
I liked it for the newbies, but it just even that, it was I
weights
mean,
on
we've had them have to do hundreds before, you know?
yeah,
And here they are, it's like, "Oh, 42. Okay, sweet."
that's a great question. What were the weights on Happy Star?
Oh.
They were ascending. Let me see if I can find this. 2020. I want the games. I'm already screwing this up. Well, let me select the games, please. Let's see. Happy Star was the runs and the burpees over a. Um, let's see. Happy Star. Here it is. 95. This is the women's weight. 95, 105, 110, 115, 135, 145, 155, 165. And the reps went 5, 7, 9, 11. The reps went up as well. So the most weight they did there was 165. Even then, like I said, 95, 135, 185, like Bill said, 95, 135, 165, still more weight. At least it's more than what we had. But all right. So we agree is like they could have done better. It could have been better. They could have added more weight there, had another lift at the end, scored it differently. Like you can't have the weight at the end and then not score it appropriately. Um, but I still think the people who had the appropriate level of fitness for the quarterfinals made the quarterfinals. That's what I think. Is that a cop out? No. I still think it could have been a better test, but I don't think anyone is excluded. You know,
Whenever you draw a line, you're
come
always
on,
gonna drop it
5
on
workouts,
somebody.
get rid of quarterfinals. Do you mean like the old Open?
Right?
Go back to the 2018 days. I
Totally.
agree. I don't
You
disagree.
you
Yeah,
know,
I
so
like quarterfinals though for what it was for the last year, as long as the programming's better this year.
yeah.
Programming was not good last year. And yes,
Uh
Dave. But he also did these. So we'll see. We'll see. Quarterfinals gonna be interesting. That's gonna be all Boz and whoever he's roundtabling with. 100K, yeah.
Oh, man, could you imagine the video editing that would
Oh
happen for
my
that?
god, the pressure. That would be great. That would be great. And then Savon's Inside the Leaderboard show would be much more entertaining because it's
Oh,
not
man.
it's not during the Open now when there's nothing on the line, but you put 100K on the line. Shoot, you
Oh,
could do that now.
yes.
Do that now, and then, yeah, beef up your test a little bit because, the person who's winning 100K needs to have it appropriately tested, but you're not gonna be able to do that in 3. They would have to they well, Maybe a part B. I don't know. They definitely would have to change things for sure. Yes, the pressure. Exactly. The pressure. Exactly. All right. We've come to the end. We've danced around this circle of fire that was good or bad programming in the open. I think we both have same things, different ways approach. I feel like critique. Like we're both critiquing it. We're just, I think, doing it from two different ways.
Yeah.
Are Max Malin Saxon legitimate contenders this year? For first, we will see. We will see. They had a great open, but I mean, it's Saxon strong. I mean, Mal's strong too. Let's get real.
Yeah. Seriously, what are you talking about?
All right. Our Element 26 thumb tape review, Bill. I'll go first. If someone be like, hey, how was the open quarterfinals? I'll just be like, let's give him one of these. You get one. That's if you guys are listening on the podcast and you can't see me, I'm just giving a casual thumbs up.
That's not even like oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Mission accomplished. Not giving yeah. I give it one. Mission accomplished. The top 10% move on. We will, and look, this, like they said before, is like this is a story that they're going to tell programming wise from start to finish. This is just the beginning. So we'll see. We'll see. What's yours?
I think yours is a thumb up because it did what it was supposed to do. A single thumb.
Yeah.
I would give, and this is, I will give a thumb up because I like the individual events. But it missed. There
was a miss. That's why I'm not giving any point.
I think it missed.
Nothing.
I'm going to say this. It missed the test of fitness. Did it not do its job to get 10%, but it missed its job in our definition of fitness. Although I do like the events. So I'll give it. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? The open? I was like, okay. That's all.
No words associated.
No.
No
Single
facial
thumb.
expressions.
Single thumb.
How'd it go? Thumb up.
Last event.
Yeah, last event. Last event was fun. First one was welcome to CrossFit. Welcome to the gym, boot camp. Second one was dirty. Second one was just dirty. That was just a dirty one.
Cool.
All right. So that was the open. What could they have fixed? A few things. They could have made it more rounded. As Bill was saying, a overall complete test of fitness can still be accomplished in 3 events. The 2007 CrossFit Games were a perfect example of that. Now, granted, we can't do a CrossFit total of 6K trail run and a hopper workout in our gyms, but we could do something along the same breadth. But yeah, thumb up from me. Thumb up from Bill. That was the 2022 CrossFit Open. Looking forward to the quarterfinals. When they release, I know they have the equipment in the list. They should be releasing floor plans prior to the announcement, of which we will predict the programming. What would we like to see? How would we program? I would say as far as our guess is concerned, we had pretty good opens. I'll take your open over maybe what we did.
So would I, just saying.
And, we almost guessed all the workouts anyways. Damn near guessed the first one. We said pulling from the floor and bar facing burpees were in there somewhere. And we both had ascending ladders with descending ladders and ascending weights with double unders in it with thrusters. Like we guessed all that. It wasn't that hard to do.
Right.
So we'll see what the quarterfinals are. Spoiler, quarterfinals are repeats of the open. It's all the same workouts. They're just a little heavier and a little longer.
Dude, could you imagine if that was the case?
I'd quit.
Oh, man.
I would just be like, okay, I'm done competing.
Like,
we're
going to show you how good of a test is. We're just going to ramp everything up. It's going to be the exact same workout.
You wanted heavier weight, longer workouts.
Now you got to do it with 315. What do you think of that? Okay.
That's what it is. They saved all the repeats for the quarterfinals. All right, you guys. Sorry for screwing up the link earlier. Thank you, Savon, for telling me that I did screw that up and joining us in the comments. Bill, as always, thank you for staying up late.
Thanks, man.
For
You
a
too.
long day. Yes. And thank you guys for joining us. Next time, what's the next episode going to be? What's the next episode going to be? What are we going to do? We're going to revisit some programming stuff? Ooh,
Yeah.
What hero workouts?
Ooh.
What's that one that you had?
Which one?
You had one about the hero workouts. Programming too hard. Should be
Oh.
What was that?
Yeah, the where does a hero workout fit in programming?
Okay.
Like how does that fit when you're doing like, affiliate-based programming?
We'll marinate on that. Ooh.
Yeah.
Quick one for Ashley. Boz's programming, do we know anything about his programming? Yes, Boz, well, his specifically, no. But be ready. I'm just going to say this. Be ready for something new. Maybe a little
single leg pistol box jumps.
Something a little fringe. I have a feeling. Boz is a very gymnastic guy. He was actually he did circus stuff for a while. I think he went to circus school or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. But Boz is also old school, very purist. I mean, something as crazy as a Turkish getup is not off the table. I'll just say that. If they can program a wall walk, do not be surprised if a Turkish getup sometime makes its way into the programming.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
A wall walk is the Turkish getup of odd object weightlifting movements. Wouldn't you say? That's super old school.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty soon we'll be hitting tires with sledgehammers. Like the good old days. Like the good old days. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. We do appreciate you guys spending some time with us late up at night. Bruce, shout out to you, bro, for hanging with us.
Good luck getting up tomorrow. Jeez.
As always, yeah. You and me both, buddy. That 4 a.m. is not going to get my best effort. Just kidding.
Totally.
Because it's the 5 a.m. All right, guys. Have yourselves a great night. One thumb up for both me and Bill for very different reasons. But thank you for the roundtable. And thank you guys for joining the show. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good night, you guys.